I was signing y'all about Rico from Street Scores, and the Washington Commanders have signed a new kicker. Is this the final kicker that we will sign? More than likely not. We're gonna break down why. Of course, with this new kicker, we got to break down his history, where he's been so far in his career between two different leagues, and even going back to his college days. Of course, we got to take a look at a lot of his stats. How good is he actually? Again, the main point of this video is to figure out, have the Washington Commanders found their permanent solution for the kicker position, or is this just a temporary thing? And we're going to take a look at and exhaust all kicker options out there. Trust me, this is about to be a very detailed breakdown of kickers. I know everybody isn't necessarily excited to hear about kickers or learn about kickers, but I'm telling you, it's way more important than you think. They win and lose you games, so we're going to do a deep dive into that. I'm even going to do a deeper dive than I have previously with other kicker videos I've been doing the past couple of days with all the updates I've been giving y'all. So without further ado, before we dive into all of that, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. I'm keeping y'all updated on every little thing that the Commanders do. Whether we release somebody, we cut somebody, there's rumors or reports that we're targeting somebody, whatever. When we get updates and any information and clips from practices, I'll keep y'all updated on all of that and also show y'all the clips as well. I'm working on rookie film sessions. Anything concerning the Commanders, this is your one-stop shop, so make sure you stay tuned. Daily content, minimum one video a day, but I'm trying to get back to 2-3 videos a day, so make sure y'all stay tuned for that, and I really appreciate y'all. Let's go ahead and dive into this video. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so I saw Nikki Javala say it first. She announced that the Commanders are signing kicker Riz Ahmed per source. And remember, the Commanders had to cut Brandon McManus. The reason that we're even in this situation, we had to cut him, who we just signed back in March, due to him being sued for sexual assault and all that type of stuff. I've already done full breakdowns in 2 videos breaking down exactly what's going on with that situation. We're not here to talk about that at all. We're here to move forward. So who have we just signed? Again, we are talking about Riz Ahmed. Prior to his professional career, Ahmed attended UNLV and Arizona State, but did not play football until transferring again to University of Nevada, and then he made the team as a walk-on. And then he made 15 of his 20 field goal attempts and 40 of his 44 PATs during his senior year. And then he also went to the NFL and played for the following teams: the Chicago Bears in 2020. Well, at least he was there. Then the Pittsburgh Maulers, then the Green Bay Packers in 2022, and then the Birmingham Stallions in 2024. So he's kind of bounced around, going back and forth between the NFL and the UFL in that weird way. But when it came to the NFL, the only thing he ever did was really handle kickoffs for the Packers. That's really it. He's never attempted a field goal nor an extra point ever in his career in the NFL, with the short stints that he had, again, with the Chicago Bears in 2020 and the Green Bay Packers in 2022. Everything else has either been college or the UFL. Now, also, his UFL trip, when we're talking about where he's been most recently, because that's probably the thing that we care the most about. I mean, even say, worst case scenario, he was a terrible kicker in the past, but how has he been most recently? What have you done for me lately? Has he improved? Well, with the time that he spent with the Birmingham team in the UFL this year, Chris Blewett got hurt, and then Ahmed made 10 of his 13 field goal attempts while Chris Blewett was hurt. All of his misses were from 40-plus yards, and he was released when Blewett became back healthy. He got back healthy. He was good to go. And I know y'all remember Chris Blewett as Washington Commanders fans, but he was 8 of 9 before he got hurt, before they had to bring in Riz Ahmed. And just to confirm the stats, just to give you a detailed breakdown again: 10 of 13, 77% almost. That's like a slight roundup. He was 6 of 6 for field goals, anything within 40 yards, but then he was 4 of 7 of anything 40-plus yards. Not great, per se. I mean, Chris Blewett was their preferred kicker, and then he got hurt, so then they brought in Riz Ahmed to replace him. And then as soon as Chris Blewett got back healthy, they replaced Riz Ahmed with Chris Blewett once again. So this guy was replaced by Chris Blewett is my whole point. I know y'all remember Chris Blewett. First of all, from his name, before he ever even attempted a kick for us, we were making fun of his name. And then he went out there and lived up to the name of Chris Blewett. And then, so y'all remember his name, but you most importantly remember his bad kicking as well. And so the guy that the Commanders just signed was considered worse than Blewett. Just a heads up. Now let's get into his stats for real. Riz Ahmed had the second lowest field goal percentage in the UFL last year with that 76.9%. So you hear 77%, you're like, oh, okay, that's not that bad. But that was the second worst out of all kickers in the entire UFL last year. And again, I'm assuming that we signed him because all of the other UFL kickers are not available yet. Like I've already told y'all, we have to wait until June 16th to contact any actual UFL kickers that are still currently on the team. Remember, Riz Ahmed was cut by the UFL team, so he's literally just available right now, which should probably tell you everything that you really need to know about this guy. But who knows? Maybe something clicks in his head out of nowhere. Maybe he just wakes up one day and has a sudden awakening, or maybe he just works really hard and unlocks something in himself. But the fact that he was cut by the UFL for Chris Blewett is a big red flag. Now, granted, again, maybe something awakens in him. Highly doubt it. But from his point of view, if you're Riz Ahmed, he has basically like a 12-day trial to get everything together to improve and show the Commanders that he can be our answer at kicker. He has a 12-day trial, because otherwise you will be replaced very soon, sir. And just based off of his history, I highly doubt that he is the last kicker that we will sign before this season starts. Again, you have until June 16th when all of these UFL kickers who are currently on rosters are able to be contacted by NFL teams and go elsewhere and sign with those teams and things like that. June 16th, Riz Ahmed. And in my opinion, you do still need to go ahead and sign Jake Bates as soon as he's available after June 16th. That's my number one option that's still available out there. Point blank, period. There's a lot of pretty decent options out there, even specifically in the UFL, but Jake Bates specifically, I think you got to go target him immediately. And Nikki Javala also brings up a point that it is very possible that the Commanders sign another kicker for competition or other reasons. Ahmed was released by the UFL's Birmingham Stallions, so he was available to sign right now. The NFL cannot contact players on the UFL playoff teams until their seasons end. So any of the good UFL kickers are basically not available yet. We signed the one that we could sign, the one that was available just for now, so that we can really just have a guy here. To me, I think Riz Ahmed is more than likely just a camp body for now until they can go get the better UFL kickers again after June 16th, which is again 12 days, which is why I say Riz Ahmed has basically a 12-day trial to show everything that he can before they go and get his replacement. Now, just to let you know, here are some of the stats from some of the top kickers in the UFL. You had Matt Coughlin. He went 10 for 10 from 20 to 49 yards and 4 or 5 from 50 plus. Then you have Andre Smith. I hope that's how you pronounce that. 13 and 14 on 20 to 49 and 4 or 5 from 50 plus. Our guy, Jake Bates, the guy that I want the most, he went 9 of 10 from 20 to 49 yards and 6 of 9 from 50 plus. And then Matt McCrane went 10 of 12 on 20 to 49 and then 5 of 6 of 50 plus, all of which are better than the guy that we just signed again in Riz Ahmed. And remember that Jake Bates is the kicker that made a 64-yard game-winning field goal 1 week and then made a 62-yarder the very next week. If you need a 60-plus yarder, Jake Bates is your guy. And of course, making kicks like that has his name buzzing everywhere right now. He's probably the UFL kicker with the most buzz and the most whispers going around about NFL teams being interested in him. So even though he probably is the best one, which makes sense, he's also going to more than likely be the most coveted as well. We're probably going to have to outbid other teams to get him. I mean, there's already some reported interest from like the Lions and other NFL teams that are already keeping an eye on Jake Bates, even before the Commanders had a chance to cut Brandon McManus a few days ago. Like, these teams have been on Jake Bates for like a couple of months now, couple of weeks now, and we're like kind of late to the party because we're the ones that just recently had to cut our kicker. Also, once we get to August, teams with 2 kickers, another option that we could exhaust, teams with 2 kickers will have to cut at least one of them, you know, because right now teams have extra kickers. There are some teams with 3 kickers and they're gonna have to get down to 1 by the time we get down to this final 53-man roster. And so once we get to a point when we officially have every NFL team only having 1 kicker, hopefully there will be some decent kickers available because of that aren't currently available right now. Like some NFL veteran free agent kickers that are not available right now. We're not talking UFL anymore right now. At the very least, better than who Riz Ahmed is, who we just signed right now. At least they should be better than that. I mean, let's take a look at it. I mean, you have the Cleveland Browns who have y'all remember Dustin Hopkins, but they also have Cade York as well. Then you have the Indianapolis Colts. They have Matt Gay and Spencer Schrader. Then the Jaguars have Cam Little and Riley Patterson. The New England Patriots have Chad Ryland and our Joey Sly, who as of right now with the situation that we're in with kickers, I would love to take Joey Sly back. Again, like I've said several times, I feel like a lot of the kicks he missed was more so due to us having the worst long snapper I've ever seen with my own two eyes in Cameron Cheeseman. Tressway was struggling to catch those crazy, sporadic, ridiculous snaps that Cameron Cheeseman was throwing back there, trying to get it in place, but Joey Sly to be able to kick it, and it wouldn't be enough time. The kick would end up getting blocked because of it, or they would rush through it and he would end up missing it. So that was a lot of that was due to Cameron Cheeseman. I'm not saying that every kick that Joey Sly missed was Cameron Cheeseman's fault, but I'm willing to blame at least most of it on him. So I would love to take Joey Sly back right now. Again, like I keep telling y'all, with a lot of things in football, but especially kickers, the grass is always greener, ain't it? It always seems like it, and then you end up in a situation where you would love to take Joey Sly back, when at first we thought we had an upgrade over Joey Sly. Then we end up in this Brandon McManus situation, and now everything's ugly. We don't exactly know what we're doing. Then the New York Jets, shouts out to Greg Zuerlein over there, because of his game-winning kick against us last year. That's what allowed us to get the second overall pick to get Jaden Daniels. Without Greg Zuerlein, we may not have Jaden Daniels right now. We may not have a few players that we have. I mean, because not only do you get the second overall pick in the first round, but you have the second overall pick going into each round after that as well. So maybe we're just one pick away from getting like Mike Sanders still, or things like that after we trade back, or even Johnny Newton. Maybe if we're just one pick later, Johnny Newton isn't there anymore. Maybe the team takes him with the pick right before. You just never know. So I just want y'all to always remember and thank Greg Zuerlein anytime, especially Jaden Daniels is going crazy. But they also have Greg Zuerlein and Austin Seibert. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers have Chris Boswell and Matthew Wright. The Tennessee Titans have Nick Folk and Braden Narvison. So, I mean, again, that's just the AFC. There's a lot of teams out here with more than one kicker right now. We're struggling to find even one. You have the Carolina Panthers, even though Eddie Pinheiro is hurt right now, but they also have Harrison Mevis, and if Eddie Pinheiro ends up coming back healthy, or if they just ended up cutting him because they like Harrison Mevis, then they can just go ahead and release him, and then maybe we pick him up after he's not hurt anymore. Hopefully he comes back sooner rather than later if that situation were to arise. Then the Detroit Lions have Mike Badgley and James Turner. The Green Bay Packers have three. They have Anders Carlson, Greg Joseph, and my Georgia Bulldog, Jake Podlesny. I love Jake Podlesny, man. That boy, hey, man, he set us up for some wins, man. I really appreciate him. So, any chance I can get a Georgia Bulldog, and as long as they're not terrible, I would love to bring over a guy like that. Then you also have the Rams, who have Joshua Carty and Tanner Brown as well. And I'm not saying that, like, guaranteed. Absolutely, obviously, all of those kickers that I just named, even some of the backup kickers, are better than Riz Ahmed, but I'm pretty sure at least a few of them are. And again, my point is that a lot of these guys will more than likely end up getting cut after we cut these rosters down around the NFL to 53-man rosters, because you're not just going to hold on to a second kicker. I mean, it would be nice if you could, but you got to use that roster spot for an additional wide receiver, an additional linebacker, an additional offensive lineman, depending on whatever situation you're in. Maybe another tight end. You never know. Or just a special teams guy outside of kicker, a really good special teams tackler, or a guy with, regardless of position, has a high ceiling, but he's not playable right now. So you kind of just keep him in the back end of the roster, even though he's not ready to go yet. I mean, an extra kicker does take up a 53-man roster spot. It's not like the quarterbacks where you can kind of get away with a third one now with the new rules that they put into place since 2 years ago. And again, we're out here struggling to find one decent kicker. And again, you have other teams out here hogging more than one. So hopefully one of those guys gets cut and we can get one of them. Also, another thing is, what if another team ends up signing a guy like Jake Bates, for example, instead of us, who I feel like is the most highly coveted kicker right now in the UFL? Once he's available, somebody's going to get him. Somebody in the NFL is getting him. I hope it's the Commanders, but if it's not, just in case, whatever team ends up getting them, if it's not the Commanders, that team's previous starting kicker will end up having to get cut for Jake Bates, and then that kicker is more than likely better than the Ahmed kid we just signed as well. So worst case scenario, we could just go and sign whichever kicker gets cut by the team that signed the top UFL kicker target in Jake Bates. So we have a lot of options out here. Also, don't forget that the real only NFL free agent kicker that could even make a little bit of sense right now for us to sign is Randy Bullock, who spent a little bit of time with the Giants last year. He's also out there as well. So it's a lot of UFL guys. It's a lot of backups on other NFL teams. And then there's that one veteran free agent that's available right now in Randy Bullock. So either way, again, I feel like we can only go up from here. Riz Ahmed is really just a camp body, in my personal opinion. Just a guy that can make kicks while we're going through OTAs right now until we can go and get the kicker that we ultimately want soon enough. I've seen Adam Peters make magic so far since becoming our general manager, and I'm just going to assume that he's going to continue to do so, and this is just more so a formality. You're not going to go into OTAs with no kicker. Any kicker is better than no kicker. Slow money better than no money, so I guess we're just going to take the mad kid right now, and then we'll eventually get the guy that we truly want maybe after June 16th. We'll see how that goes. Again, there's a few kickers that are available. I just feel like Jake Bates is the best one. So I'm definitely assuming that we will end up with another kicker before the season starts outside of Ahmed. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm cautiously optimistic that the kicker that the Commanders will decide to go with it going into the season will end up being a pretty good one. Who knows? I mean, again, right now, even Joey Sly is a backup kicker for the Patriots. They may end up cutting him. So it seems like you could even argue worst case scenario, maybe we go and bring back Joey Sly. But now he'll have a Pro Bowl long snapper in Tyler Ott, who we signed from the Seattle Seahawks. So that should automatically improve his kicking percentage and his kicking possibilities as well. I just need him to be automatic from PATs. With the new kicking rules, having that huge leg isn't necessarily as valuable as it used to be. So we just need the guy that's extremely consistent at making PATs. Anything within 40 yards, we need you to hit those all the time. That's the type of kicker I want. In previous seasons, before these new kickoff rules, I was like, yeah, I can see both sides. Give me the strong leg kicker that can make the 50 pluses, or give me the kicker that's automatic from a short range. Either one, I'm cool with it. But again, with the new kickoff rules, devaluing having a very strong leg, and hopefully, best case scenario, your offense is good enough to where you're not having to consistently depend on 50 plus yarders. You shouldn't even be in those situations. I mean, hopefully we have a very aggressive and efficient offense to where if it's fourth and short, we're just going for it once we're even close to the other team's side of the football field. So hopefully, I think as of right now, with all of those factors included, again, most importantly, the new kickoff rules, I want the guy that's most consistent. So I love Joey Sly, and I think he will become more consistent with a Tyler Ott being his long snapper, but at the same time, go and get me the guy that's automatic from 40 yards within. Automatic, every PAT, every field goal within 40 yards. Give me that guy right now. Typically, I have not been that type of guy. That's not the guy I've usually wanted. But now, with the way that the NFL is shaping up, with the way that our team is looking right now, how explosive and efficient I think our offense is going to be, give me the dependable guy any day of the week right now. Hopefully, that's who we end up with. And I'm not going to lie, Riz Ahmed does not seem like the dependable guy. But we'll see. He made all of his kicks from within 30 yards, so we'll see how that translates to the NFL. But that was all a UFL thing. We'll see what happens. Yeah, he went 6 for 6 from within 40 yards, but the UFL, they don't kick PATs, so we don't know how he is with those. But at least he was 6 for 6 from within 40, so maybe he surprises us. We'll see. He just can't kick far. Anything 40 plus is dark, so that's why he's not highly coveted. We'll see how this goes, though, man. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on the next kicker that we end up signing, because I'm promising you right now, this is not our final kicker signing before we get to this regular season. I'm assuming after June 16th, we'll probably bring somebody in that quickly before we even get the training camp, just to give you the heads up. So I will keep y'all updated on that for sure. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. And of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about this whole kicker situation right now. How do you feel about us signing Riz Ahmed? Do you feel like he's our final kicker solution, or is he just the guy that we're signing for now and we're looking to sign another guy later, maybe from the UFL, maybe from another team that once they cut it down to 53-man rosters, they have to cut their backup kicker or whatever. Let me know if you feel like we're not done at kicker like I do. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me. Let me know which kickers that we could potentially end up targeting is your favorite. Maybe give like a top 3 if you have one. Let me know if you feel the same way I do feel about Jake Bates, where he's probably our best option out there. Also, let me know which kicker you prefer right now. Do you prefer the higher ceiling, bigger leg guy, or the more consistent guy that's going to make everything within 40-30 yards? So let me know how you feel about all of that. Again, I will keep y'all updated on any Commanders news, reports, information, updates, anybody that we sign, anybody that we cut. I mean, if we go and get David Bakhtiari tomorrow or something like that, I'll keep y'all updated on that. Even if it's just rumors, we're going to talk about them and address them as rumors. I will give y'all the whole disclaimer that it is a rumor, and then from there we can move forward with why we should want this rumor to happen or why we should not. So make sure you stay tuned for everything. Again, your one-stop shop for everything Commanders. I'm gonna keep you updated on all of the practice things that are going on. I think we are practicing today. I don't think the media has any access to it, but Dan Quinn is supposed to speak to the media tomorrow after practice or before practice, and so I'm assuming that practice should be open to the media. So hopefully I have something to talk about and break down for y'all as far as OTAs practices tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, and I really appreciate y'all. Make sure you do not leave this video without leaving a like. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.